Right, hey guys, how are we doing? Back with another video from Too Spooky, and today we're checking out the top 10 Logia Devil Fruits. Because the Paramecia video is 50 minutes long and I don't have that long, so we'll do that one next. Just being honest. So let's get into the top 10 Logia Devil Fruits to see what Too Spooky has to say on this one.
How's it going, everybody?
Too Spooky here.
So a little over a month ago when I made my top 10 Bankai in Bleach video,
Cool video.
This guy commented and suggested that I do the top 10 Devil Fruits from One Piece.
Sweet, yeah,
so
cool.
instantly I knew that I had to do that. That was such a good idea. Thank you for that, man. But I decided to take it one step further. Instead of just
that's why there's
doing the
three,
top 10
right,
Devil Fruit,
each
I will do
type.
the top 10 of each type of Devil Fruit.
There we go,
So we're going to be doing the top 10 Logia, Paramecia,
oh right, so this was the first one.
And then
I knew that. I knew that. That's why I did
Today
this.
We're going to be doing the top 10
Oh,
Logia Devil Fruits.
I'm clever.
And before we get into the list, I would just like to put out a little disclaimer.
Okay.
So, just like every other top 10 video, this video is based heavily on my personal opinion.
Yep.
However, I am backing up each one of my opinions
with points.
Facts on the Devil
There you
Fruit,
go.
and I will be explaining why I put them where I did.
Cool.
Now, this list is also not focusing primarily on strength, though strength does have a little bit
of a
to do
factor
with some of the people.
Cool.
I'm also looking at the uniqueness of the Devil Fruit, their overall abilities,
Mm-hmm.
and how useful they are in different situations.
Cool.
So keeping that in mind, hopefully you guys can understand why I put certain people where I did, and you can get a better understanding of the fruits themselves. So before you head down to that comment section and be like, this should be called my top 10 Devil Fruit instead of top 10, just remember it's not based primarily on strength there, bud. So, with keeping that in mind,
Cool.
let's get into the list, shall we? Today we're going to be counting down the top 10 Logia Devil Fruits in One Piece.
Alright.
Now, the weaknesses of Logia Devil Fruits are as follows.
Water.
Just like every other Devil Fruit, Logia Devil Fruit users cannot swim and will drown if they are placed in water. Another weakness of Logia Devil Fruit users is Haki. Usually, Logia Devil Fruit users will allow attacks to pass right through them with their respective element.
But if you can use Haki.
With Haki, their opponent is able to temporarily solidify the Logia user, allowing them to be
It's good that they did that,
and
because,
finally,
Jesus.
some Logia users have a natural weakness. For instance, fire would be weak to water. So just keep those weaknesses in mind.
Like Pokemon.
Also, I feel I should mention that we're not only focusing on the Devil Fruit and their powers, but we're also focusing on the user of the Devil Fruits, because they have a big influence
on how
the fruit works. By using their abilities to their fullest and creating new ones. So just keep that in mind as well.
There's a lot to keep in mind. Number 10.
The Yuki
Which one's this?
Otherwise known as the Snow Fruit.
Right.
This Devil Fruit's powers were consumed by Monette.
Right, yeah.
With this power, Monette could turn herself into snow to avoid attacks by letting them
Pretty damn
right through her, or avoid them by floating past attacks.
Well, I'm
she could
doing well
also
today.
manipulate the density of the snow she creates to form extremely solid snow barriers. Because they are so hard, it is very difficult to destroy them. But if they were to be destroyed, she could easily pass through the snow barriers.
That's cool.
She also has the ability to weaken someone and make them lose consciousness by hugging or wrapping herself around them, using her ice-cold body to sap their body.
Yeah, take it all out of them.
By transforming into snow, she could secretly hide in snowstorms. Like
Damn, yeah, that's pretty damn advantageous. Yeah, she had it all on and impel down. Not impel down. Impel down? Punk hazard.
By the cold temperature, which would slow and weaken her opponent. She also used her powers to change the battlefield into a snowfield, so she could dive into the snow created from her snowstorm to hide, move quickly, trap, and attack her enemies. And the biggest weakness to this Devil Fruit is heat. Now, the reason this Devil Fruit is so low is not because Monette is dead, but because there are multiple Devil Fruits that produce extreme heat, which would in return render her powers useless. Also, there is another Devil Fruit specializing in freezing cold abilities that is vastly superior to this one.
Yeah, definitely. The ice one is definitely better than that. Yeah.
Than that Devil Fruit. On top of those, her abilities were seemingly limited to me, mainly in the sense that her powers would be useless in certain parts of the world.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, she was very much, like I say, on Punk Hazard, she had all, like, oh yeah, she wouldn't... Yeah, if you flipped over to the side of the island, or Yeah,
because they
Alabaster
are so
should
hot.
be like
I
now.
really question whether or not she would be able to create snow in a blazing hot desert or a flaming wasteland. So if these theories would be true, her devil fruit powers would only be useful in certain temperature circumstances.
Yeah.
And that's why this devil fruit is at number 10. Number 9.
Come on.
The Moku Moku no Mi, otherwise known as the Smoke fruit.
Ah,
This
Smoker.
devil fruit's powers were consumed by Smoker. The user of this devil fruit is able to generate, manipulate,
He's so
and
freaking
become
cool. I love
himself.
Smoker, man.
Like most other Logia fruits, when Smoker is hit, he can simply use the fruit's power to become smoke, which would result in absorbing the attack and remaining completely unharmed. Like some of the other Logia devil fruits, this one allows its user to fly by turning
Which is
his
sick.
body, or at least the lower half of it, into
Smoke, yeah.
greatly enhancing his movement and speed. The main offensive abilities of the fruit are from the user's ability to change the density of the smoke they produce at will. This allows Smoker to surround his targets with his smoke, and after they are surrounded by the smoke, he can then increase the density of it to grasp them, which in return would capture them. The smoke can also be used as a blunt weapon, hitting enemies with
Which is just
amazing
crazy,
strength.
yeah. So
However,
just turn
it
that
is
part around into
possible to
smoke
escape
and
the
projectile
smoke's
the
hold with a
fist.
sudden,
Like what?
strong enough expansion of the body. The only devil fruit so far that has been a challenge for it would be the Flare fruit, which produces fire. These two fruits cancel out one another. Other than that, no specific natural weakness has yet to be seen. You should also keep in mind that Logia devil fruits have two weaknesses. The vast majority of them are weak to Haki. The other weakness for a devil fruit is a specific natural weakness
To
or
the actual
opposite
power
devil fruit
itself,
counterpart. Now, the reason this fruit is on the low end is because Smoker is extremely susceptible to users of Haki. A great example would be Smoker's fight with Virgo. The more that Smoker spread himself out on the battlefield, the more overall area his body takes up. Because the smoke is a manifestation of his
Himself.
body due to more overall
Yes.
area,
You can just attack
it is
any of that with
easier
Haki.
for him to
Right.
get hit in battle, resulting in a big weakness. However, Haki is a weakness for basically every
Yeah.
Logia user. Smoker just has it worse than others.
I guess,
Also,
yeah.
Smoker's ability can be used in almost all situations, but his abilities currently can only reach a certain point or extent. I would assume he could use his abilities to get smoke into enemies' lungs, for instance,
Jeez, yeah.
weakening them with an extreme cough. He may have already done this, but I can't think of an example where he did. Overall, this devil fruit's powers are very interesting, but compared to many other devil fruits, it is not near as strong or useful of an ability. I would like to put Smoker higher on the list because his devil fruit, unlike most others, doesn't have a definite natural weakness.
Yeah.
Although I feel if a wind or air devil fruit were to appear,
Counteract
he would
it.
have one.
Yeah, blow it
The
away.
main reason he is so low is because of his limited abilities and extreme Haki.
Makes sense.
weakness.
Yeah.
Number 8. The Suna no Mi, otherwise known as the Sand.
The Sand
This
fruit.
devil fruit's powers were consumed by Crocodile.
Yeah, man.
This
Crocodile.
fruit allows
Oh, wow,
for a
that was
wide
sick.
variety
Whoa.
of abilities. Rather than just
I love
normal
Crocodile.
elemental
Such a good
control
villain. Whoa.
like other Logias, it also
When he joins
allows
them at
the user
Marineford.
to locate
Ah.
quicksand, set off devastating sandstorms, and absorb liquids. Such a variety is not seen with any other current Logia devil fruit. It is also one of the few Logia-type fruits that can naturally counteract its own weakness, and even becomes immensely stronger in desert areas. The fruit allows the user to transform into sand at will, as well as control it. Crocodile has also trained himself to transform into sand by mere reflex, and
That's
because
sick.
of this, is capable of naturally avoiding sneak attacks without a second thought. This fruit allows Crocodile to sense anything that is moving through sand. He does
Which is
this by using the power
ridiculously
to sense
cool.
underground rivers that are flowing through the sand, in return sending back signals of movement. Its power can also be honed to the point where the user can absorb the moisture from and dry anything the user
Yeah, you can suck it up,
grasps,
can't you?
causing
Take
living
it in,
things
yeah.
such as humans and plants to wither away through dehydration, and also cause all other matter, like rocks, to crumble to dust and sand. Only metallic substances are immune to this dehydration effect.
Yo.
Also, Crocodile's sand turns solid when in contact with liquids, including blood. This prevents his sand from dispersing, and thus temporarily nullifies Crocodile's intangible body. This weakness can also be rendered useless due to the ability to absorb the offending liquid. Now you're probably thinking, this devil fruit is fucking mad strong.
It is.
With all these crazy abilities, how is this not higher on the list? The main reason for this is because the other people above him on this list have better abilities, or abilities
there you go,
that
just
somehow cancel
okay.
Crocodile's abilities out. For instance, we know Crocodile can absorb liquids, but he is also weak to it in temporary time periods, or first being exposed to it.
Yeah.
So if there
That's why
were
he
to be
didn't
a
want the
water
rain
devil
to come
fruit,
round, and how
he
Luffy
would
just
most
like
definitely
had that barrel of
lose.
war with him.
Also, sand is known to melt and turn to glass under extreme heats. So it is more than likely that this could happen to Crocodile.
Oh god.
Elements
Wow.
such as fire and lava would be detrimental to Crocodile's
Never
ability.
thought that.
Also, another problem would be lightning. Sand melts at around 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit, and a traditional lightning strike is 53,500
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
Fahrenheit. So if Crocodile would be struck by lightning, he would more than likely instantly be turned to glass. This is mostly speculation, of course, but research seems to have
definitely worth a
for
mention, like,
because
whoa.
he has a weakness to multiple other devil fruits, he is thus lower on the list, even with all the abilities he possesses. Number 7. The Mera no Mi,
Ooh.
otherwise known as
The
flame
fruit. Yeah.
This devil fruit's powers were consumed by Ace, and then later by Sabo. The user of this fruit is able to create, control,
Ace
and
was amazing.
become fire. With this in mind, the user can create devastating fire-based attacks and gain a high resistance towards other heat-based attacks.
Which is cool.
The flames created can also be used to increase the force of physical attacks. They are also able to avoid normal attacks by turning into fire and allowing the attack to pass through their bodies. If the user ignites themselves, it provides the added effect of burning an opponent if they had tried to physically harm the user. The fruit also has a pretty decent range with its attacks. When this power clashes against certain other Logia on equal grounds, this seems to come to a stalemate. Neither smoke nor ice was able to overcome nor diminish the flames. Instead, they just end up canceling each other out,
which is
when
sick.
The two elements collide.
Boom.
Now this fruit has a specific fruit that it is extremely weak to, but we will get to that later. Sabo, whom is the current user, has displayed great control over the fruit's abilities, being able to utilize it in conjunction with his pipe and avoid injury by making himself intangible. He also has shown himself mixing it with his Dragon Claw.
Oh god, Dragon Claw, man, he just crushed that sword, didn't he? It's like, wow.
Now I know this fruit is a fan favorite.
Yep.
But in reality, compared to some of the other fruits,
it's not
it
the top.
just isn't up to par.
Wow.
The reason we have it above Monette is because fire would render her useless.
Yeah, she ain't got no
reason
chance
it is
against
above
that.
Smoker
No
is
way.
Because they both end up in a stalemate by canceling each other out. And the reason it is above Crocodile is because Crocodile is, in my opinion, weak to extreme heats.
Yeah, you mentioned that. That's cool.
Other than that, fire would be weak to, let's say, another water devil fruit, if there was one, and ice is another stalemate. There is one specific fruit that is superior to this one, and because of that, this fruit would be lower on the list. But other fruits on this list have also shown that they can counteract the abilities of the Mera no Mi. Although this fruit is beloved and is overall very strong, it still gets beaten by others, which leaves it down at number 7. Number 6.
Number 6.
The Goro no Mi, otherwise known as the Rumble fruit. This devil fruit was consumed by Enel, or Eneru.
I can't wait for him to come back, man.
The Rumble fruit's element
Something
is
big's gonna happen with that.
Enel is able to control, create, and transform himself
into lightning. Wow.
He is also able to regulate the voltage of his electricity, with his maximum output being 200 million volts. Which is the same amount of voltage as a traditional bolt of lightning. Enel is able to avoid normal attacks by turning his body into lightning.
That was crazy. It's like, whoa, this guy's so OP.
On top of that, Enel can merge with solid matter, such as gold or wood. He does this mainly for defense or traveling purposes. Also, by transforming into lightning, Enel can electrocute anyone that is directly
Sky Knight, no!
Enel can even travel at the speed of lightning by transforming into it. To put how fast that actually is into perspective, the speed of lightning is 220,000 miles per hour.
Jesus.
Beaten only by the speed of light, which its precise value is 299,792,000
It's a big number. It's a very, very big number.
Enel can even use his fruit's ability to jumpstart his heart if it enters
That
the
was
state of
crazy
cardiac
as
arrest.
well. Yeah, he was out and then he just went,
Jolt of electricity
nah,
to his
not
body.
out yet.
Now, while Enel is seemingly all-powerful, its fruit has a unique weakness, and that weakness is rubber.
Yeah, which was so cool. That was so, like, oh.
The user of the Gomu Gomu no Mi, the natural enemy,
That was amazing. So simple yet effective. It was like, whoa.
This is because the Gomu Gomu no Mi user's body is completely composed of rubber. Due to this, all of Enel's lightning-based attacks had absolutely no effect on Luke.
It was so cool. It was like, wait, he must have missed. Yeah,
his attacks managed to completely bypass Enel's Logia form. Similar to how he was able to bypass Crocodile's Logia weakness by dousing him with
water. Yeah.
It is unknown if other insulators have the effect on Enel's Logia form. Nami was able to deflect some of Enel's lightning with her climb attack, though Enel just claimed that it would be ineffective if he increased the voltage of his lightning. Now, the main reason Enel is above Crocodile is because,
again, the lightning would turn him into glass.
Lightning would liquefy sand into glass. On top of this, Enel has some amazing abilities compared to the previous four we've already talked about. For instance, he can travel at extremely high speeds, and even revive himself with his power if his heart were to fail. The only reason Enel is not higher on this list is because the fruits above it are considerably stronger than this one.
Interesting.
Overall, I feel Enel's abilities are generally overlooked because he fought his natural weakness. But if he were to fight other Devil Fruit users, it would be interesting to see how the battle would actually play out. But until that happens, Enel will be stuck down here at number 6. Number 5. The He no Mi.
Which one's this one?
Otherwise known as the Chili Fruit. This Devil Fruit's powers were consumed by Koigi. This
pretty damn strong, this one, like. Pretty damn strong.
As well as his surroundings into ice. With this Devil Fruit's power being able to run for a 10-day straight battle, it was strong.
Which is crazy. That's some, like, insane fighting.
Half of an island into a frozen wasteland. This fruit is the superior power compared to that of
Definitely.
Yuki no Mi, as ice is a superior freezing agent to
The
snow,
yeah.
which is why Monette is at the bottom of the list. It is most interesting to note that this fruit is one of the few Logia fruits that can be hit with physical attacks. This is mainly because ice is a solid state element, and because of this, the user cannot simply dissolve out of harm's way as most Logia users can, or let the attacks simply pass through. However, most attacks are still ineffective against this fruit because its user can simply shatter and reform the ice on impact.
Right.
On the other hand, Koigi can actually let a hockey attack go through him at will. For instance, instead of getting injured by Whitebeard's hockey during the Marineford battle, he just let the attack go right through him like any other Logia user would. When Whitebeard's blade penetrated his ice body, it gave the appearance of slush. Koigi also has extreme amounts of resistance towards the extreme cold due to his Devil Fruit's element, as he is able to freeze his body parts and turn back to normal without any tissue damage. The ice also can cancel out fire when they clash, as seen against Ace's Marimara no Mi, which is one of the reasons why the Marimara no Mi is below this one. However, the ice seems to be ineffective against Whitebeard's earthquake abilities, since the freezing powers failed against the Great Pirate, due to the fact that the ice shattered before disabling the target. The vibrations from the Guruguru no Mi also shattered the ice and kept Whitebeard from being frozen solid. In addition, Akainu was able to melt the ice generated by Koigi in mere seconds. However, it should be noted that Koigi was able to fight against Akainu on equal terms for 10 days straight.
That's
Koigi
long
is
freaking
also
time,
able
man.
to travel great distances and move at very high speeds by turning his entire body into ice. This was seen when he moved from his seat on the execution platform into the air to freeze 2 tsunamis created by Whitebeard. Most of this Devil Fruit's attacks require Koigi to be in physical contact with his enemy directly to freeze them. Yet he found ways around this, such as creating ice spears
Which is
to
sick.
extend his combat range. Koigi is one of the few Devil Fruit users who is capable of counteracting his weakness against falling into water, as he can simply freeze it.
Which I think is a bit of a cheat. It's like you just freeze the water and walk over it.
And drowning. The reason he is at number 5 is for a couple things.
Okay.
This Devil Fruit is extremely strong and useful in most situations. It has not yet shown a definite weakness, and although lava is technically its weakness, he still was able to counteract it for 10 whole days. that doesn't sound like a weakness, more or less just an inconvenience. This fruit is also the superior fruit to Monet's, making him automatically higher on the list. This fruit made the top 5 because it is definitely one of the strongest Logias out there. But strength isn't always what gets you higher on the list. Remember, this list is not the top 10 strongest. This list is focusing on other elements as well.
I like this. This is cool,
does
yeah.
not have a definite weakness or something it cannot counteract, though certain powers will render its power less useful. Because of all this, he makes the top 5. Number 4. The Yami Yami no Mi, otherwise known as the Dark Fruit. This devil fruit was consumed by Blackbeard. The first strength, as demonstrated by Blackbeard, is that it allows the user to control darkness and its unique property of gravity. The darkness is visually demonstrated by a black smoke substance spreading out.
It's going to be interesting to see him explain why there are things above this one.
The darkness is an infinite void that devours and crushes everything. Due to this, the user can absorb physical matter and attacks of any type by sucking it into the darkness. The user can also use this ability to irresistibly pull the opponent towards them.
And temporarily use their ability while he's holding on to them.
Similar to a black hole,
Didn't he
the user can absorb
do that with Ace for a
inside
minute?
a vortex. It seems that it does not completely compress and annihilate that which is sucked in, as an actual black hole would do, but rather creates some form of space where things are stored. Blackbeard was able to suck an entire city into this vortex, and, when eventually regurgitated out of the vortex, everything expelled was reduced to scraps.
Absolutely crazy.
The guards of Impel Down that Blackbeard sucked in also survived, although they were heavily wounded and in shock. One of the most unique advantages of this fruit is that the user also has the ability to nullify the powers of other devil fruits by simply touching the user and draining them.
Which is crazy, like what the
All
frick?
types of devil fruit are affected by this, although Logias are most affected as they can no longer become intangible by transforming.
It's not like he's using Haki or anything, it's just his ability itself. It's like, what?
This seems absolute, as though the devil fruit users had never gained their powers at all. This was shown when Luffy's stretching powers were cancelled on touch. Unlike the effect of a body of water or sea stone, both of which just stop a person from controlling their powers, it was shown earlier when Luffy was stuck underwater and his neck could still be stretched above the water's surface, and that Haki would simply nullify the defensive aspects of a devil fruit, such as intangibility of rubber. The major strength of this particular fruit is the darkness the user turns into that swallows up everything. It also has a major weakness. Since the darkness also absorbs attacks, the user of this fruit is still vulnerable to attacks, which do not pass through the darkness they turn into. If they fail to absorb an attack,
It's a bit of a weird one.
The user can be hurt like any other normal human being, or even more, as stated by Blackbeard. In addition, while the ability to nullify devil fruit abilities is very powerful, the user must actually touch and remain in contact with the victim for the effects to remain constant, meaning that if the victim is somehow separated from the user's physical touch, they will quickly regain their devil fruit abilities. However, it seems this power can be overcome in certain situations. For instance, Whitebeard somehow managed to activate his abilities even though his hand was around Blackbeard's neck, somehow ignoring the nullification of Blackbeard's devil fruit powers through physical contact.
Whitebeard was just so freaking ridiculous.
His Haki to nullify the effects,
oh, okay.
But it's also possible that Blackbeard actually has to touch the user
with his hand.
Yeah. Rather than
the other way around. Like if you touch him, right? Okay.
Crocodile has to use his right hand to absorb liquid.
Yeah.
However, it seems that touching Bear's skin is not required, as Blackbeard was capable of nullifying Luffy's powers
by holding his
at
clothes.
By touching his clothes.
Yeah.
Overall, suggesting that his hand must be touching the person or material of the person for it to work. Although, if the opponent is strong enough to break his grip without the aid of their devil fruit, they will regain their respective devil fruit's powers. Now, this fruit is absolutely crazy. Its biggest strength is also its biggest weakness, but that weakness can be easily overlooked if the user can take an oncoming attack with ease. To me, this is currently the most unique of the Logia Devil Fruit, because darkness is more than just an element. It is everywhere. This is one of the few devil fruits that I could see being able to take down any devil fruit out there, because any devil fruit could have this dark fruit as that fruit's weakness. But if this fruit can absorb other devil fruit attacks with ease, that makes it a weakness to every devil fruit out there, unless they can somehow get around this ability. Another thing is there could be an unknown power that this devil fruit has. Somehow, Blackbeard was able to steal the devil fruit powers of Whitebeard, leaving him with
Yeah,
two
oh
powers.
mate, that's still out there. Like, how did he do it? What's going on?
Being able to consume another fruit is due to the devil fruit's abilities or due to other means. If it later turns out that Blackbeard being able to eat another fruit is because of his devil fruit's powers, the Yami Yami no Mi will be at number 1 on this list, no question. But because there is still so much to learn
speculation,
about this fruit, I can only place it so high, which is why it sits at number 4. Number 3. The Pika Pika no Mi, otherwise known as the Glint Glint fruit. This devil fruit's powers were consumed by Kizuru.
Ah, well,
Like
okay, yeah, this one's pretty OP. Okay.
The user is able to control, create, and transform into an element. In this case, Kizuru is able to control, create, and transform into the element of light itself.
It's like,
this
what?
fruit allows the user to utilize light-based attacks.
Some of the stuff he does is just crazy. Like,
laser beams from his hands, fingers, or feet.
At the speed of light.
Massive explosions. He can also create partial transformations that enable physical attacks that connect at light speed, which can cause devastating damage to an opponent. Kizuru's reflexes are so quick that he can transform into light to completely bypass almost any attack, even a gunshot from meters away. He is also able to avoid normal attacks by transforming into light, causing the attack to bypass straight through his body, like most Logia users can. The user is also able to travel at the speed of light and is able to reflect himself to any desired location. Due to this fruit's power, Kizuru is the fastest man in the world, as nothing is faster than the speed of light, which can travel at roughly 300 million meters per second, as stated earlier in the video.
Fancy a race? No thanks.
Some of Kizuru's attacks, like his lasers, can only travel in straight lines. Kizuru can only move at the speed of light when he shines a laser on his desired location to travel at the speed of light too, which does take a little bit of time to do. Now you would think that light would be the weakness to darkness, which is one reason that I put Kizuru above Blackbeard. Though this possible weakness has no evidence surrounding it, it's just another theory of mine. The reason this fruit is so high is because of how devastating light can be. Like I said with darkness, light is everywhere, making it another very unique fruit. This fruit has the ability to travel faster than any other known power, and can shoot explosive lasers at the same exact speed. This makes almost all of his attacks extremely hard to avoid. I don't think people grasp the fact that light is one of the most deadly elements on this list.
Yeah, it's crazy.
On top of that, I can't even imagine what his powers would be like if he could somehow infuse hockey into them.
Jeez.
Another great ability that is extremely useful would be letting an attack pass through you, only to have Kizuru reform at light speed behind you into a powerful explosive kick. He is not only the fastest man in One Piece, but one of the most deadly. Another reason he is in the top 3 is because he has the ability to travel anywhere in the world at light speed, which only means there's nowhere to hide from this man. And to make matters even crazier, there is currently no weakness to this light, although Blackbeard may be light's weakness instead of darkness being weak to light. Overall, Kizuru is one of the strongest, most unique characters in One Piece. It would be impossible to put him any lower. Number 2. The Gasu Gasu no Mi, otherwise known as the Gas Gas fruit. This fruit was consumed by Caesar Clown. This devil fruit's main strength is the ability to change into a gas-like form, allowing the user to float and go places that normal beings cannot. As Caesar was seen hiding inside some flasks when he was informed that the Marines were nearby. However, he can also become dense enough to hold objects, like his cocktail glass. As explained by Brownbeard, he claimed to be the one who purified the whole island from poisonous and nerve gas. This, however, is revealed to be just part of a cover story, with the poisonous gases being used to give birth to Smiley. The gas that Caesar produces is very poisonous, and the gas also appears to be explosive when set alight, which allows Caesar to create controlled explosions without harming himself. Additionally, the user has the power to manipulate other pre-existing gases in any given location, and can suffocate their opponents by removing the oxygen in the area. This gives the user 2 options to instantly defeat
was not expecting
their
this,
opponent,
but okay.
allowing Caesar to knock out Luffy after realizing he was immune to poison. However, the area of effect is not infinite, so if somebody escapes the oxygen-free zone, they will be able to breathe again, which is a small downfall. The user can even merge with other gases to enhance his own power. all while being immune to the toxic effects himself. The gas form appears to be weak against fire, although this is controlled by the user's ability to minimize oxygen levels in the surrounding area, preventing combustion. On the other hand, it seems to take some concentration, or it is only possible while solid to manipulate the oxygen, as Nami and Usopp could breathe again when Brownbeard struck Caesar with a metal pipe. And there seems to be a range of which Caesar can control oxygen, leaving him more vulnerable to longer-ranged attacks. Also, many of Caesar's techniques require external ignition and tools to work. Other than that, the user is also affected by the standard Devil Fruit weaknesses. Now, right now, you're probably thinking I'm absolutely crazy for putting Caesar so high on this list. But just hear me out on this one. This Devil Fruit is one of the most deadly in combat due to the fact that Caesar can manipulate the oxygen in the air. Oxygen is something that every combatant, so far at least, needs to survive. If oxygen is taken away, it can not only knock someone out, but if the oxygen is continually absent, the individual will die. Though the area in question is limited, this is still a very underrated ability, especially in an enclosed area. On top of this, his gas is highly explosive, which could be used to catch people off guard. Caesar could easily just take away the oxygen, flood the area with his poisonous gas, then ignite the area. Also, absorbing other gases could be an extreme advantage based on the gas. Say Caesar was to carry around concentrated containers of gas with him, each a different kind. If he were to absorb a different gas depending on the situation, he could be unstoppable. Imagine if Caesar carried around some sarin gas with him, if sarin gas is in One Piece, of course. He could just unleash and absorb it, making him a toxic powerhouse. Basically, Caesar is not ranked this high because of his initial strength, but because of his deadly abilities and unused potential. All this along with being a genius. On top of all of this, oxygen is also needed for certain Devil Fruits to function, mainly fire, so Sabo is out of the question. But oxygen also plays a role in solidifying lava into rock. So, Caesar could possibly even take out our number one,
crazy,
the Magu Magu no Mi, otherwise known as the Magma fruit.
Right.
This fruit was consumed by Akainu. Well, since it was spoiled to you in number 2, let's just get going. The main strength of this Devil Fruit is that it allows Akainu to produce magma to attack his opponents with. The intense heat can vaporize an iceberg instantly and boil the seawater that the magma lands in.
Mental.
With this power running for a 10-day battle, it was strong enough to permanently change the weather of one half of an island into a blazing inferno.
That's crazy.
As a Logia, Akainu can let physical attacks, such as punches and slashes, harmlessly pass through him unless they are imbued with haki. Other ways he can be hurt are if he is touching sea stone, being caught off guard, assuming he has not trained himself to transform by reflex, and being attacked by his elemental weakness, though none have been revealed so far. Akainu is very aware of haki and has found some ways to avoid attacks that have been enhanced with it, as seen when Marco sliced him in the neck with haki-infused attacks, but he still appeared unharmed. Though he did note discomfort when taking the strikes, since his body is composed of magma, anyone who tries to attack Akainu directly have the added effect of being badly burned. Weapons, such as swords, were also shown to melt after coming into contact with him.
Oh my god, and when he did that to Ace.
Than Ace's abilities, allowing the Admiral to overwhelm the young pirate's fire-based abilities, neutralize his intangibility,
and Ace couldn't
burn him.
get himself together, could he? He was just like,
power is powerful enough to take on people like Ivankov and Jinbei with minimal effort. Aside from the standard Devil Fruit weaknesses, Akainu's powers do not seem to be weak against anything specific. In fact, the only thing that the fruit could not burn were the flames produced by Marco's mythical Zoan Phoenix Devil Fruit. He could also not burn Vista's swords, Shank's sword, and Whitebeard's weapon.
What does Shanks deal, man? Do something, Shanks. Do something.
To Akainu's, Akoiji was able to deal quite a few injuries to the other Admiral during their 10-day battle. Like any Devil Fruit, haki can bypass its intangibility, though Akainu has somehow found a way to overcome this weakness, but still finds it troubling when a haki-based attack hits him. I don't even know where to start with this guy. For one, magma can reach temperatures up to 2,120 degrees
Pretty hot. Damn
so
hot.
the heat alone will be enough to instantly kill a person. But on top of all his magma abilities, he is somehow immune to haki-based attacks, one of the biggest weaknesses of all Logia users. though it tickles him a little, I suppose. Another problem is that there is currently no known weakness to the Magma no Mi's abilities, while almost every other Logia fruit has one. Oda has even stated in interviews that if Akainu was to go after the One Piece, he would be able to find it within a year because he is just so strong.
Oh, whoa.
The biggest downfall I can see is the fact that he cannot travel fast like other Devil Fruit users such as Kizuru or Enel, making him susceptible to speed attacks, though it seems very difficult to injure him. Akainu and his fruit are the worst force to be reckoned with, and because of that, and because of his lack of weaknesses, he is without a doubt our number one.
Damn.
But there you have it, everybody. The top 10 Logia Devil Fruits in One Piece. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video.
Yeah, that was cool.
If you did, make sure to leave a like. If we can get this video to 1,000 likes, I will put out the next top 10 Devil Fruit video in the future. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. There will be plenty of other One Piece content and other top 10s in the future. If you guys didn't agree with my list, make sure to comment down below who you would put where instead of where I put them. And
Who would you put up there?
Make sure to hit this annotation right here for 10 facts about Doflamingo. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you soon.
Can't really argue with those. I was a bit surprised to see Caesar where he was, but he explained it, so cool. Yeah, interesting. So I'll do I think I'm going to do the Paramecia ones next, and then the Zoan, I think. Not sure. See how we go. But until then, thank you to my patrons. If you want to have your name at the end of a video upload, links in the description to the Patreon page. $1 a month or less helps pull the channel. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you guys for that, and thank you all for watching. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe, and leave comments down below. Let me know what I watch us in future videos, and I'll see you guys, all you guys, next time.